All right, President Trump taking a hard stance on the removal of criminal illegal immigrants.
As we speak tonight, we are removing gang members, drug dealers, and criminals that threaten our communities and prey on our very innocent citizens. Bad ones are going out as I speak, and as I've promised throughout the campaign.
Well, the mainstream media is so shocked that he wants to enforce the law that the Washington Post is trying to gin up sympathy for those deported in an article titled, "After Decades in America, the Newly Deported Return to a Mexico They Barely Recognize."
Yeah, here with more on this sob story is Deputy Opinion Editor for the Washington Times, Kelly Riddell. Kelly, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Kelly.
So I took a look at this story, and you could almost read it in reverse, but it reads about folks who've been deported from the United States going to Mexico and not being prepared for what they see. What did they think would happen if they came to the U.S. illegally in the first place?
Oh, my goodness gracious. You know, I would just appreciate if the Washington Post could write with such compassion and sympathy about the blue-collar, everyday American worker like they did about these, illegal criminal aliens that are getting deported back to their home country. There were so many absurdities in this article. It was hard to wrap my mind around, what the narrative has been versus how they want to spin this and spin compassion for these illegal aliens. But let me just read you a graph in this article. It says more returnees back to Mexico means lower wages for everybody in blue-collar industries such as construction and automotive manufacturing, where competition to jobs is likely to increase, economists say. How ironic. How ironic is this? Just in, President Trump's joint address to Congress, you had the same paper, the Washington Post, basically fact-check him on all of his comments about immigration and how it's hurting the average American worker and say that's false. The economists say that's not true. But for Mexicans in Mexico, that is true.
Yeah, Kelly, this was also in the piece. It says that one flight a week, and that is 135 men were on the flight. That's less than 10,000 people a year. You compare that to the 12 million illegals we have in this country. You're saying, if anything, if you are supportive of what President Trump is doing, you're going to want him to do even more.
Yeah, I mean, this is a non-story. It also said in the story that President Barack Obama had 2 flights a week, and under President Trump, that's only increasing to 1 flight. I mean, if anything, President Barack Obama was a racist, xenophobe, deporter in chief. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
We never heard anything about that at the time.
No, never.
Yeah,
Kelly, you've
exactly
also pointed out that the story notes that a lot of Mexicans are frustrated that those deported don't speak Spanish, but English instead. Yet we are, you're pointed out for being xenophobic if you ask folks coming from Mexico to speak English. So a lot of double standards, shockingly, from the Washington Post.
Kelly, thanks for breaking this down for us. Good to have you here this morning.